Back home, the federal government says it has all options on the table to keep fuel flowing across the nation. As the Middle East conflict enters its fifth week, there is growing concern about fuel supplies drying up here in Australia by winter.
A temporary cut to the fuel excise gave motorists some relief earlier this week, but that confidence was shaken after Donald Trump indicated the war with Iran would continue for at least 3 more weeks.
We have always made crystal clear there are risks across the board, particularly as you look now well into May and into June.
9 newspapers say the government is weighing further cuts to fuel standards to increase the pool of available imports. Energy Minister Chris Bowen has eased standards twice since the war began, adjusting diesel flashpoint requirements and sulphur content rules.
We're leaving no stone unturned. We're securing supplies to come here to Australia, and we are, of course, going to look at any opportunity to maximise the amount of fuel that's available at the Bowser.
The government is also looking to diversify its fuel supply, with domestic refineries turning to Southeast Asia for crude oil. But these refineries account for less than 20% of national consumption. Most of Australia's fuel is refined in Asia, and 60% of their oil passes through the Strait of Hormuz.
Iran should stop interrupting the flow through the Straits of Hormuz. But, Australian companies have been diversifying. We're seeing more supplies on the way from other parts of the world, United States, Mexico, other places. The Asian refineries are diversifying their supply of crude oil, which is very important for Australia because most of our refined product comes from Asian refineries.
We want more fuel. We'll look at anything sensible. There's no doubt Chris Bowen's emissions obsession has had an impact.
Meanwhile, states have agreed to pass a GST windfall onto the Bowser, shaving 6 cents off the price of fuel. Combined with the fuel excise cut, Australians are saving 32 cents a litre. The ACCC has also issued a warning to suppliers that they expect to see cuts to the fuel excise passed on to motorists in full and as quickly as possible. Short-term relief for motorists despite long-term uncertainty over the supply of fuel. Aspen Blomfield, Sky News.
Let's get the thoughts now of someone else at the coalface of this fuel crisis. CRA Construction founder Kim Allen joins me live now from Queensland. Kim, we've heard a lot about how the fuel shortage is causing a rise in food prices at the supermarket shelves, but how is it affecting your industry?
Hi, Alex. Thanks for having me again. Look, we're in the brunt of it. We are getting price increases by our suppliers daily. I'm having multiple increases from my suppliers weekly, from the same suppliers. My own company, we went 60% over budget in our fuel last month alone. At the end of the day, it's having a huge impact. The government, they've passed along their fuel discounts. However, I'm not seeing a discount passed along from my suppliers as yet. I'm seeing it at the Bowser as I drove through town today, but the reality is I'm not getting that passed on. Our suppliers, they're passing along anywhere from 3.5% to 25% in an increase in fuel surcharges. It's a rough one for small business at the moment.
How long does that have to go on before that becomes unsustainable for you?
Oh, look, at the end of the day, we are in a crunch. We are trying to prepare for the Olympics. We are in fixed contracts at the moment. There's only so much we can absorb. So who knows at this point in time? I couldn't give you a number, but months, if you're lucky. How can I continue to absorb thousands and thousands of dollars every single month? I have to keep cutting costs. I've already gone through one review of cost cutting. Next week, I'll be on to my next stage because I just simply can't keep absorbing it.
And presumably other construction firms feel the same way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Our builders are all feeling the pinch. All we can recommend at the moment is to work with your builders. We're going to all of our builders and it's an open discussion with them. It's not constantly just passing along to every single builder, every single price increase. It's a negotiation. It's how can we help one another to get through this? If we're going to sustain our businesses between now and to the lead up to the Olympics, how are we able to still stay in business together and make it through to be strong enough to deal with the next phase of the Olympics coming to Brisbane?
Just explain to our viewers why the building trade is so sensitive to rising oil costs.
Yeah, sure. So I have 20 vehicles on the road, That's 20 diesel cars. So that's why I've gone 60% over budget last month alone. I have all of my suppliers passing along fuel surcharges at the moment. So that's from, it's not just fuel, we're seeing material price rises because they, again, are needing fuel to get their materials to pass along to our distributors. It's a knock-on effect. Again, the project schedules on site are being delayed. If we are seeing, for example, plumbing, the pipes are they're struggling at the moment. They've seen a 30% price increase. They are at a shortage. I'm the middle trade. I'm a plastering business. We are the absolute middle trade. So if there's delays on site, that's affecting my budget, that's affecting the builder's budget and the builder's timelines. So it's not just the trades or the builders that are being affected. It's a knock-on effect for everyone. It's project completion as well as businesses remaining in control and remaining in business.
And raw materials like timber, metal, plastic, all having to come from abroad? Yeah,
abroad, but also Australia. I mean, we've got our board supplier our board is being made up in North Queensland. It still needs to get down to Brisbane. That's fuel. So that's where we're seeing these costs passed on. It's not just all overseas. So it's not that the war is very much so in Australia at the moment, because how are we to sustain ourselves if we keep seeing these price increases?
And as you mentioned before, you're one of the construction firms involved with getting Brisbane ready for those 2032 Olympic Games. That might seem a long way away, still 6 years ahead of us, but these construction deadlines for Olympics can be very tight. Do you think this is going to lead to delays?
100%. Yep, absolutely. Why wouldn't it? At the end of the day, we are in a trade shortage. We are now going to see a higher increase of builders or trade contractors go under. We saw it through COVID. We managed to get through COVID, and those in the industry are saying, hey, this is COVID 2.0. But the reality is we didn't see price increases so quickly during COVID. It was a delayed effect. We are now seeing prices being hit. People are prepared. They know what to do. They know they need to increase their prices to remain in business. But the reality is how, when we come to after the fact, how are we supposed to be able to continue to absorb that and pass it on? Builders can't sustain that. Trades can't continue to sustain that. How are we going to be able to deliver these projects for the Olympics or have the financial investment to continue to invest into apprentices to absorb the trade shortage that's needed to fulfil the contracts leading up to the Olympics? It's a significant impact.
OK, we really appreciate you explaining that, Kim. Like all of us, we hope that the situation improves sooner rather than later. That's CRA founder Kim Allen. Thanks, Kim.